Welcome back to John Sports Corner on this Wednesday afternoon. And again, let's start with Indian Premier League cricket as the rearranged Indian Premier League resumed. And please take note, England players Josh Butler, Jacob Bethel, and Will Jacks will miss Indian Premier League games as they returned to represent England against the West Indies. While Cricket West Indies, trying to rebuild their white ball team, have given Sherfane Rutherford and Romario Shepherd the permission to remain in India to complete the Indian Premier League season. In any case, earlier today, Mumbai Indians defeated the Delhi Capitals by 59 runs. Indians 180 for 5 from 20 overs. Surya Kumar Yadav 73 not out. Mukesh Kumar 2 for 48 from 4 overs. The Capitals 121 from 18.2 overs. Samir Rizvi 39. Mitchell Santner 3 for 11 from 4 overs. Jasprit Bumrah 3 for 12 from 3.2 overs. And in the Pakistan Super League, Quetta Gladiators by 30 runs over Islamabad United. Gladiators 209 for 6 from 20 overs. Dinesh Chandimal 48, Fahim Ashraf 45, Salam Irshad 2 for 34 from 4 overs. Islamabad 179 in 19.4 overs. Shahid Zada Farhan 52, Usman Tariq 3 for 32 from his 4 overs. And in football, Trinidad Tobago have been named as the host country for the Caribbean Football Union's Girls Under-14 Challenge Series, scheduled for August 15th through the 24th. 23 teams set to play for supremacy across a 2-tier system. There will be 8 teams in Tier 1 in 2 groups of 4, and 15 teams in Tier 2 in 3 groups of 5. Tier 1 Group A will be Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Bermuda, and Martinique. While in Group B, it will be Aruba, Haiti, Jamaica, and Trinidad and Tobago. The top 2 teams from Tier 1 advance to the semi-final. In Tier 2 Group A, St. Kitts and Nevis, Dominica, Bonaire, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and St. Lucia. Group B, Grenada, Barbados, British Virgin Islands, French Guyana, and Suriname. While in Group C, Cayman Islands, Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, Turks and Caicos Islands, and Guyana. The group winners and the best second place from Tier 2 advance to the semi-final. Jamaica Reggae Girls coach Hubert Busby named a 21-member squad for the June 3rd friendly against the U.S. In goal, Leah Brooks, Sydney Schneider, Serena Mensah. In defense, Chantel Swaby, Alison Swaby, Konya Plummer, Naya Cardoza, Vian Sampson. In midfield, Naima Ingleton, Soleil Washington, Amelia Van Zanten, Olufolosade Adamolikon, Atlanta Primus, and Denisha Blackwood, while up front will be Kayla McKenna, Rihanna Blades, Shayna Hales, Chanel Buckley, Cameron Simmons, Kalissa Van Zanten, and Jody Brown. Of course, you know, the Reggae Girls captain Khadija Bonishaw has been injured most of the season and still has not, I guess I can say, put on the boots to play any football. But Coach Busby noted that 2 more players could be added pending completion of passport and citizenship documents.
That means they're getting from outside the country, John.
Yeah. And you know, my feeling about developing your local players and getting them up to snuff to play international football, both men and women. Also coming up for Jamaica's Reggae Boys is the Unity Cup in England, May 27th, which is this weekend, or should I, no, it's Tuesday, through May 31st. Jamaica will go up against Trinidad Tobago, Guyana, and Nigeria. Matter of fact, Coach Steve McLaren is expected to name his squad tomorrow. And there's a buzz that Mikel Antonio, who suffered a fractured leg in that horrible auto accident last December, may be in the squad, but we shall see. Jamaica will open against Trinidad Tobago May 27th, and depending on their result, will play either the winner or the loser of the Guyana-Nigeria game. Jamaica, of course, you know, preparing for World Cup qualifiers that begin June 7th against the British Virgin Islands and June 10th against Guatemala. Trinidad and Tobago also getting ready for World Cup qualifiers, and they open against St. Kitts and Nevis June 6th, followed by Costa Rica June 10th. Andrew Peart, head of coaching at the Jamaica Football Federation, has been appointed to the CONCACAF Coach Education Panel. The panel is a distinguished group of technical experts responsible for designing, implementing, and monitoring the CONCACAF Coaching Convention. The convention serves as the Confederation's regulatory framework for establishing minimum standards in coaching education across North America, Central America, and the Caribbean. Mason Greenwood, who is expected to be in Reggae Boys colors sometime in the upcoming World Cup qualifiers, helped his French Marseille club secure the runners-up spot in the French Ligue 1 with a 4-2 win over Rennes. His 21 goals also helped him finish joint top scorer with Ousmane Dembele. However, Dembele will take the trophy because he scored less penalties than Greenwood. In Jamaica Premier League football, it will be a Cavalier Mount Pleasant Academy Jamaica Premier League final for the third consecutive year. Similar results for both teams in their semi-final encounters. Cavalier 2-1 on goal aggregate in the two-way tie against Arnett Gardens. Same with Mount Pleasant against Montego Bay United. It should be another mouth-watering Premier League final. Arnett Gardens and Montego Bay United play for third place. Both Cavalier and Mount Pleasant qualify for the CONCACAF Caribbean Cup. Jamaica Women Premier League, Fraser's Rip 4-0 over UWI. Cavalier and Arnett Gardens in a 2-2 stalemate. Los Perfectos 9-0 over Federal United. Proven Girls and Wi-Fi in a 1-1 stalemate. Mile Gully Real Mobe game abandoned in the 26th minute because of a waterlogged field and will be rescheduled. No indoor stadium, Trevor.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, as we reported last week, you know, Trevor, Cristiano Ronaldo's eldest son, Ronaldo Jr., made his debut for Portugal's under-15 by coming off the bench in the 54th minute in a Portugal 4-1 win over Japan in the Croatia Vlatko Markovic Youth Tournament. Well, Ronaldo Jr. scored his first goals for Portugal by hitting the back of the net twice in Portugal's 3-2 win over Croatia.
So he got the game ball. Woo.
And that is under 15 rather, football.
Okay.
English Premiership, Aston Villa 2-0 over Tottenham, Chelsea 1-0 over Manchester United. Manchester United going to the dogs. Trevor.
Well, you know,
Everton.
they're playing for draft choices, John.
I tell you what, draft, they don't draft. They spend money to buy players. Everton 2-0 over Southampton, Nottingham Forest 2-1 over West Ham, Brentford 2-1 over Fulham, Leicester City 2-0 over Ipswich, Arsenal 1-0 over Newcastle, and Brighton 3-2 over Liverpool. Liverpool final loser game, but they've already won the English Premier League, so it really doesn't matter.
probably playing their, their reserve players, John.
Probably, yeah. But Trevor, again, I think the FIFA Rules Committee need to revisit that offside rule. I was watching the West Ham Nottingham Forest game on Sunday, and the VAR took an eternity to determine if the second Nottingham Forest goal was offside.
Oh.
An attacking player's finger or toe shouldn't be what determines an offside. I think it should be a clear body difference. Why hold up a game for 10 minutes to draw a line, to see if a shirt or an elbow or a toe was by the offensive player was over the line ahead of the defensive player? It makes no sense, Trevor.
But John, with technology, there was a time when we used to run when we run in track, you had a tape, and you know who finished first because that's the guy with the tape on his chest in front of everybody else. Now it's a guy whose shoulder gets over the line, the digital line, even if someone's feet, John, is across the line before the shoulder.
Yeah, the torso. That's the torso.
The torso.
Whose torso crosses that?
I mean,
2000 lights the camera first.
So
but,
yes, it is. They're finding more and more ways to make a simple game difficult, John.
Yeah, and it takes away the continuity of the game.
And not only that, mistakes, John. Mistakes is a part of the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
But sometimes, VAR, I guess, is to cut out the deliberate mistakes.
The question is, John, the question is, can you trust VAR?
Well, Trevor, I have to tighten up. I don't know. But I just think that offside rule, the FIFA Rules Committee have to straighten that out. It has to be an obvious offside.
I mean, offside, John, should be a full body ahead of everybody.
I think, yeah. I mean, it should be clear.
To stretch your hand in front of you because you have long arms, John.
Yeah.
And your arms.
You say you're offside.
Yeah. I mean,
it don't make sense.
No, it makes no sense.
Anyway, Trevor, I have to start watching more of the Barcelona games just to see Lamine Yamal play. He brings back memories of Jogo Bonito, the beautiful game. Barcelona sealed their 28th Spanish League title with a 2-0 win over Espanyol last Thursday. And he scored the opening goal by shaking off 2 defenders, then curling a deadly left footer into the back of the net. It was absolute, what I like to say, poetry in motion, Trevor.
Poetry in motion.
17 years when I watched him playing down there, I said, boy, this youth. Yeah, he plays with such, and he doesn't play like Ronaldinho, with reckless abandon. he is like he's like an artist.
Okay, more.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Anyway, the UEFA Champions League final is set, and Paris Saint-Germain will face Inter Milan in the UEFA final. And the FA Cup final, Crystal Palace 1-0 over Manchester City. Palace first FA Cup win in 3 tries. 1990 and 2016, they lost to Manchester United in the final. City also lost last year's final to arch rival Manchester United.
Okay.
Women's FA Cup, Chelsea 3-0 over Manchester United. Even the women can't, Manchester United can't get away in trouble.
They don't want to make the men then look bad.
Well, I tell you, well, the United glory days are certainly over. But such is life. But the men's final coming up again. So well, Manchester United, of course, lost to Tottenham 1-0 in the final. And 37-year-old Lionel Messi will be in Argentina squad for their World Cup qualifiers away against struggling Chile on June 5th and at home against Colombia June 10th. Injury kept him out of the March doubleheader against Uruguay and Brazil. And in the world of netball, the Suncorp League over there in Australia, the big game Saturday, a clash of Jamaica Sunshine Girls with the West Coast Fever against the Adelaide Thunderbirds. West Coast Fever prevailed 67-61 over the Adelaide Thunderbirds. Janelle Fowler Nemhard completed 53 of her 55 shots, while Romelda Aiken for the Thunderbirds hit on 32 of 35. Melbourne Mavericks with Shimona Jack defeated the Queensland Firebirds 71-64. Of course, Shimona Jack is also a Sunshine Girl, and she was perfect from the spot, Trevor, completing all 61 of her attempts. Ahead of Jamaica is a 2025 Netball World Youth Cup in Gibraltar, September 19th through the 28th. Coach Annette Daly says there are immediate challenges facing team preparation, including financial and nutrition.
Here we go
Add to that, Coach Daly says most of her 18-member squad are either in university or high school and are currently preparing for exams. As a result of the challenges, the team are currently training on weekends only.
Wow.
You and me know, Trevor, that does not lead to success going for a world championship. And I am sure Australia, England, New Zealand are not training on weekends only.
I wonder what the sports minister in Jamaica think about that, John.
We need a ball to be sports minister, Trevor.
I mean, do they regard that as a problem, John? Do they regard it as a problem? Because
that's a good question.
I mean, these are the type of questions that they need to answer. When we are the diaspora need to ask. Okay. Because when we see problems in Jamaica, John, like hurricane, tariff, and other things like that, we normally express ourselves by by supporting a decision that is for the betterment, John.
Yeah.
For the betterment of the problem that we see. to solve it or to make the situation better. I would expect, therefore, that when we hear that there's a problem with one of our sport ambassadors, that the government think it's important enough, just like you have an ambassador in Washington, John, and if there's a problem, the government think it's important enough. Okay? And that goes, as I said, the government, not the party. Because to be quite honest, the government is comprised of, minority and majority parties. So it's not a one-party problem, John. So even if the majority is not speaking about it, you would expect the minority would have a good topic, John, to address. Okay? The problem with sports in Jamaica not being supported, where we can say without any reservation that the government of Jamaica does not seem to be friendly to sports. Granted that every platform that we have brought onto this to this table express the problems that they have, and they cannot and have not at any time been able to say we can even depend on the government, ask the government, think the government is going to see the problem and do something about it. The Reggae Girls, the last bright star, that was the Marleys that came to the rescue, John.
Yep. Anyway, Trevor, I'm going to have Jamaica at that level have only one podium finish at the World Youth level, securing a bronze in 2013 in Glasgow, Scotland. 2017, they finished 5th in Botswana, while in 2021, there was no competition because of COVID. Moving across the Caribbean, Jaden Sue brought home the only medal for St. Lucia in the 2025 Pan Am Aquatics Championships in Medellin, Colombia, a bronze in the 50-meter backstroke. He narrowly missed out on another medal, placing 4th in the 100 backstroke. And I think at last check, Trevor, Jamaica had, I think it was 4 medals in the bag. But I will have more information on that next week.
Okay.
And 6 teams are set to contest the revamped Dream 11 T10 Blast, set for June 24th through July 4th at the Minder Phillip Park in St. Lucia. The 6 teams are Bamboo Blasters, captained by Stephen Natram; Ayanola Heritage, captained by Johnson Charles; Amazonian Warriors, captained by Kester Charlemagne; Piton Strikers, captained by Tariq Edwards; Whiptail Smashers, captained by Kimani Melius; and Calabash Giants, captained by Shadrach Descartes. A $10,000 title prize is up for grabs, along with other prizes for most runs, most wickets, most catches, and most wicket-keeper dismissals. And that's in cricket, lovely cricket.
Oh, yes.
Meanwhile, St. Vincent and the Grenadines defeated St. Kitts and Nevis 3-1 in an international friendly football match Tuesday night, ahead of their preparation for World Cup qualifiers. Head coach Ezra Hendrickson was particularly pleased with the team, as the team was composed entirely of local-based players as part of his strategy to build greater depth and continuity within the national team. Their next assignment is May 29th, a friendly against British Virgin Islands at Arnoldsville. And they have upcoming World Cup qualifiers, June against Anguilla and Puerto Rico. the teams joining Guyana Amazon Warriors in the second edition of the Guyana Super League are Super Smash champions Central's Stag out of New Zealand, International League T20 champions Dubai Capitals out of United Arab Emirates, Big Bash League champions Hobart Hurricanes out of Australia, and Guyana Super League champions Ranjpur Riders out of Bangladesh. The tournament scheduled for July 10th through the 18th, and on the 10th, Central Stags take on Dubai, and at 10 a.m., while Guyana Amazon Warriors play the Ranjpur Riders in the night game. And we move to the sport of kings as journalist won the 150th running of the Preakness Stakes at Pimlico on Saturday evening.
Okay.
Ridden by Italian jockey Umberto Rispoli. Journalist wasn't declared the winner until stewards looked at the bumping and boring just past the turn for home. As Rispoli urged journalists through a tight hole. So journalist second in the derby and has come to win the 2025 Preakness Stakes. Did you see the race, Trevor?
No, but I heard about it. It was like a penalty shootout.
It was
bumping and grinding.
It was, Trevor. When they played back when I saw it in live action first, I said, whoa, look like a steward's inquiry going to be here, man. But as the commentators explained, that the jockey and journalist, he had his lane, and the horse on his right came down on him.
Okay.
But he was pushing that horse through that hole. And the horse came over on him. I thought that horse was going to go down, Trevor, because when I see him bounce over, I said, whoa, he's going down. But he maintained, I guess the jockey was able to help him maintain his balance. Trevor, it's amazing, these jockeys. I don't think people realize how dangerous horse racing is, especially when you have a large field.
Oh, yeah.
And they're all bunched together, coming down to make that turn for home,
Oh, yeah.
It is horse jockeys, boy, I tell you,
John,
the skill that I see these guys.
And those horses are very competitive, John.
Competitive? Yeah. When you have somebody weighing 120 pounds controlling a horse weighing over 2,000 pounds. Yeah, it's something then, and the power that those horses have.
Oh.
Yeah.
Some of those horses don't like to finish last, John.
Well, and it's really, but it's something I remember, Trevor, as a youngster growing up, what is now Zadie Gardens, the Zadies who were in the horse racing, their own train, that was their stable. Zadie, the Zadie, that whole land area.
Yes.
And they had space enough, just big enough for them to have a track.
Okay.
It was not a big track, but they when they brought up their horses from Caymanas to rest, and they worked them in the mornings around that track. And as a youngster, I was 12, 13, about their time, weighing about 90 pounds or so. I used to get up early and tell my mother I'm going to train because I used to play little football and run track.
Don't tell me you wanted to be a jockey, John.
No, not want to be a jockey. But I used to go over, get up early morning with my friends, and we go over there, and we were able to ride some of the horses.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll never forget because at the time the guy who was the champion jockey in Jamaica, he was stable at that with Zadie.
Okay.
And we knew him, So we go over there early morning, 5 o'clock in the morning.
Mm.
And I never forget the first horse he put me on, Trevor. The first I going on a race horse. First I going, growing up with my grandparents, my grandfather had a horse, but the saddle, a different saddle.
Mm-hmm.
The saddle that you sit on a race horse is about the size of this paper.
Yeah, it's like a paper. It's like putting on gloves.
And it's just balance. And I tell you the truth, I was scared as hell when the jockey said to me, he said, "Yeah, man, come, John, man, ride him around and walk him." And I walk him and come around one time, Trevor, and I sitting down on this little thing on top of the horse, trying to balance. And then he said to me, "Okay, no, you're going to count him." Well, I tell you, Trevor, you playing, you're afraid like hell, but you can't let them know you're afraid.
I guess Yaras told you to quiet and steady,
And but it was kind of easy to go around and come around, but it was really fun. But man, to be in a horse race and see those jockeys, how they bunch up together, and it's a dangerous sport.
It is. It is. It is. But that's the sport of kings.
Sport of kings. Anyway, Trevor, today we look at former Pakistan wicketkeeper batsman Safdar Ahmed as we look at cricket history, and he became Pakistan captain in all formats in 2017. In that year, he led the team ranked 8th to a Champions Trophy win.
Okay.
He was sacked as captain in 2019. Well, after the 2019 World Cup, from both the Test and 2020 teams, Safdar was played in 54 Test matches for Pakistan. He scored 4 Test centuries with a top score of 118 against New Zealand in Karachi. And that's where I draw stumps on today's John Sports Corner. But folks, remember, you are in the SosoBone Media Network. You are part of the Sosofat TV family. Tell a friend. We span the globe here with our sports updates every Wednesday. You can go to our YouTube, John Sports Corner, it's there. You can go to www.sosobone.com. You go across the screen, you see TV, you click on it, you see the drop down, John Sports Corner, all there. Most of all, go to the Winner's Circle store in the SosoBone shop and get yourself a packet of Jamaica Blue Mountain coffee. Folks, enjoy this Memorial weekend, and I'll see you next week. Take care.